Let's talk a little bit about the anatomy of a joke because it's quite simple. In fact, I think a joke works the exact same way that a story does, right? There's a 3-act structure to it almost. You have your hook, and then you have your setup, and then you have your punchline. And here's the really interesting thing. As I've talked in other podcasts and other episodes about the climax of a film, a punchline to a story works almost the exact same way. The reason something is funny to us is because it's almost like our mind does double duty at once. And what I mean by that is the punchline of a joke will surprise you, but almost in the same instant, you suddenly realize that it was intended a different way, and that tickles your funny bone. That makes it funny, right? And that's why puns and innuendos, they make people laugh because you understand it one way and then it surprises you and means a totally different thing. And if you do it quick enough, and it's almost like our mind racing to catch up, it forces us to laugh. Now let's do an example of this, okay? Let's do a knock-knock joke, and you can kind of see how this goes. Knock, knock. A little old lady. Hey, you can yodel? Now, if you went along with me on that one, and you followed that, you know that you said, a little old lady who? And it sounds like you're yodeling, right? And so that's the joke, is it's a pun. You said, a little old lady who, which is what you're supposed to say in a knock-knock joke. But then when I twist it and say, you can yodel, your mind grabs onto the fact that what you said could be misconstrued to sound like yodeling, but it does it so quick that it can be humorous. Now, I know, you probably didn't laugh at that one. It's not that amazing of a joke, but that's how knock-knock jokes work. But I wanted to show you this for a reason, because a knock-knock joke is the perfect example of a hook, a setup, and a punchline. Right? The hook is asking someone knock knock because there's sort of the social construct where most people don't get out of childhood without knowing how a knock knock joke works. You know what you're supposed to say, right? When someone says knock knock, our impulse is to jump into that. Who's there, right? Asking someone a question hooks them because they have to respond. And then we have the setup, a little old lady who, and then the punchline is, hey, you can yodel, which is not the direction you thought it was going to go. And that's what makes a joke, is it's the surprise element. Now, puns are some of the lowest hanging fruit when it comes to this setup of a joke, but it works because of the dual meaning. Now, here's a little bit better example of it. Here, this one comes from a comedian who is a legit comedian. He's my favorite, Mitch Hedberg, and this is my favorite joke of his of all time.
I like an escalator, man, because an escalator can never break. It can only become stairs. All right. There would never be an escalator temporarily out of order sign. Only an escalator temporarily stairs. Sorry for the convenience.
Okay, so did you hear what he did there? Did you see how that worked? Right? He's like, I like escalators because an escalator can't break down. And you're like, wait, I've seen escalators that break down. And then the punchline, they can only temporarily become stairs. And you're like, oh yeah, actually, it's still, when an escalator is broken, it still works. You can walk up them like stairs. But your mind does that all in a split instance. And that's what makes it funny, is that you grab onto it that quickly and you get, oh, there's another meaning to this. And then he follows it up with the second part of it, which is this joke about you'll never see an out of order sign on an escalator, just a sign that says escalator temporarily stairs. Sorry for the convenience. And I love this joke because it's so subtle. But we've all seen out of ordered signs that say, this is out of order. Sorry for the inconvenience. So when he says sorry for the convenience, you realize actually that is really convenient about escalators, that if they break down, they just become stairs. And it's just ridiculous, but it is so funny. And I've heard Mitch Hedberg tell this joke in a number of scenarios, and he almost always uses the exact same verbiage. And the punchline, it lands the same way every time. It really gets the audience going. It's one of my favorites.